Over the past 2 decades, I have reviewed and analyzed over 25,000 dating profiles. And during that time period, I have seen men and women make the same mistakes over and over and over again. Today, I'm going to be getting into the 5 biggest mistakes that men and women make with their photos so that you can avoid them and prosper on these dating apps. One of the biggest mistakes that I constantly see is people just not understanding that you are only as good as your worst photo. So what does that mean? You could have 5 absolutely flawless pictures. Maybe you look unbelievable in that dress. Maybe you just bought a new suit that you look sharp as hell in. You're on an insane adventure in another picture and everything looks perfect. But if just one picture, just one, has a red flag or is not optimized perfectly or shows you in poor lighting, it is enough to destroy the entire profile and people will move on to the next one. Why? Because most people on dating apps have unfortunately been burnt many times by meeting up with people who wind up looking nothing like their photos or misrepresented themselves on the apps. So because of that, they're extra cautious. So when they get to your photos, if they see even one photo that makes them question how attracted they are to you or just something about your character or personality, that's it. It's over and on to the next. So make sure that you optimized every photo perfectly. The next mistake that I see so often is photos that lack confidence, and this is detrimental to your success. When you signal that you have confidence, you are signaling you know you are someone who is worth being chased after and that you have something to offer. But when your body language is poor and your hands are awkward and your posture is a little bit off or your smile communicates nervousness or shyness or any of the number of things that could cause a lack of confidence, this is going to hurt you very badly. So make sure that when you are taking your photos that you feel good, that you feel happy. Have somebody who can get you laughing first and feeling positive about yourself because the camera will pick up on these details. The next mistake that I often see are backgrounds that send off the wrong vibes. Now, hopefully you don't have a room as messy as this exaggerated example in the photo depicted here, but nonetheless, you need to make sure that where you're taking the photo, the background that you're in sends off positive, happy vibes that show you have your life together. If you're in a room where it feels very isolated or very dark, you might unintentionally be communicating that you're lonely or that you're sad or that you're depressed. Even if that's not the case at all, a picture's worth 1,000 words and these vibes are going to give off that feeling. Whereas if you took a photo in a place that was vibrant and colorful and gave off positive vibes, you're going to create feelings of happiness in the viewer as well. In addition, you don't want to have any clutter or any bad distractions or things that give off red flags in the background because people will notice that and that will kill attraction. So make sure that you get the background, the lighting, and everything that goes along with the perfect photo correct. The next biggest mistake I see is people sending off unintentional red flags. Now, I use the word unintentional deliberately because a lot of times people have no clue they're doing this. Maybe you accidentally are coming off as the party girl, or maybe you're coming across as a guy with Peter Pan syndrome, or perhaps you think you're posting something funny that accidentally is coming off as creepy or shows you in a light that may appear as if you're lazy or lack ambition. There's just so many ways to unintentionally send a red flag that we have to be extra cognizant of every single detail in the photos we post. Because as we talked about, we are only as good as our worst picture, and one bad picture will destroy the entire operation. Now, this is one of the less obvious mistakes, but one of the biggest mistakes you can make nonetheless. I see so many people who post way too many solo shots of themselves. Now, why is this bad? I want you to think of every photo as an opportunity to tell a visual story about yourself. As the old expression goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Now, if I were to go on Hinge and I post 6 photos just of me. The only visual story that I'm telling is what I look like. And that's not good. What we want to do with our photos is we want to try to tap into different internal characteristics and personality traits that will spark attraction and interest. So instead of just posting 6 photos of me standing around or taking a bunch of selfies, I want to show myself engaged in different adventures, in different activities, in different passions of mine. Maybe I have another picture with a family member or with my dog. But the more pictures that I post that show me engaged in things that I like to do in life that are attractive to other people, the more matches I'm going to get and the more success I'm going to have. Whereas if I only post 6 pictures of myself, not really doing much except showing what I look like, the only ability I have to attract people is if they're attracted to what I look like. And if they're not attracted to what I look like, then I'm not going to get that match, and I'm losing all those opportunities to build attraction in other ways that have nothing to do with my looks. So when you do post pictures, make sure that you have a wide variety of pictures showing you doing a lot of different things. All right, everybody, if you liked this video, great news. I am going to be putting out free content on YouTube every single week for the first time in 2 decades. All my knowledge, everything I've learned, over 25,000 profiles reviewed. You are gonna get all of that knowledge here on YouTube. So subscribe below, stay alerted, and I'll be back in my next video with plenty of more free advice so that you could dominate the dating apps and find the relationships that you're looking for.